Hello anybody and welcome back to Let's Play Rogue Legacy. I'm Mr. Devious, or just Deeb, and in the last episode we started exploring the tower area known as the Maya, and in today's episode we're going to head back up there and look for even more stuff up there. And today we're going to be starting off with... we're going to try the... not the mage, because they're too big. We're going to try the assassin. We haven't tried an assassin in a while, and this one's really fast. We also got a lot of money on our last time up there, so let's see what we can upgrade. We'll upgrade Haggle again, so we're going to get even more money back when we have to go into the castle. And we may as well upgrade our mana, since we're here anyway. So let's do that. And with our dark stink lines, or our shadow, as it were, it's time for us to head into the castle. Also, we're doing a really good job of filling up the amount of runes that we do have. We're making pretty good progress on it, even though they're getting pretty expensive to buy. Eventually, it does end up being really expensive to buy all the runes in the game, and I don't think I even necessarily did that on my other file. I don't know if you have to buy them all to get all the achievements in the game, but maybe I did. Yeah, I think I did. Just because I'm on New Game Plus in my other file, and I think I got them all because I'm on like New Game Plus 3, and that means I have so much money. Like, it's ridiculous. The New Game Plus in this game is pretty good, by the way. It's what you would expect from a decent New Game Plus. It just builds on the foundation of what you've already played, introducing new challenges. And here we have a thing that says no fighting. Let's try using the assassin's ability to turn invisible and just ignore damage, and... we got ourselves the haste rune. So we can get on out of here now and not have to deal with this anymore. We only took one hit, and that was on the way out. That's how you use an ability cleverly. He used his magic through the wall. I am not happy about that. But it's just as well. And now that we have all that gold, it's time for us to get back out of this room and head back to our destiny, the upper right of this room. I know it's not a very big destiny, but, you know, it's somewhere. Now we do have to be careful still because we do have ADHD, which means we're so fast that it's just easy to fly into things and get ourselves killed. It also means it's easier to run away from things. And with the assassin, that's a pretty useful ability to have. ADHD on the assassin, you basically want to run like, you want to float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. You want to get in there real quick and get out really quickly. I'm going to try and use this ability because we have it. Yes, very well said, Mr. Devious or just Deeb. And you're also probably starting to see the benefits of all the stat raising we have been doing in this room, where even though we got hit a couple times, we still have a decent amount of HP, so even the weak classes start to have a really easy time in the castle area because enemies just stop doing as much damage as they used to do, and that's really useful. Another fairy chest room where we need to take no damage. We've already done this kind of room before already. And it's a retaliation rune. Fair enough. And it looks like we found Kitter's boss door again. Again, we'll take care of like the secondary versions of the bosses a different time. I don't want to waste too much time trying to fight them and struggling against them when I can just kind of give them their own dedicated episode, which I think would just be a better idea all around. Incidentally, let's see if we can find the base modifier for our critical hit. Ah, there you go. See? Because they're an assassin class, they get a plus 100 or plus 15 crit chance and plus 125% crit damage. So they do more crit, and they just have a 19% chance in general. But also we got that bonus modifier from upgrading the crit ability, so it's like plus 4 more likely. So, point being, as we upgrade our chance to get critical hits, the assassin's going to be a monster eventually. Not yet. Right now they're middling. They're not the best class right now, but they have potential. Oh, how they have potential. Also, guard boxes get more annoying, as we have already seen. This is a mimic. We're just going to ignore it for now as we take care of this thing. And we got a critical hit on the Mimic. And, ooh, we got some big enemies in here. It's funny because I was saying I don't remember this area being as hard as, like, the forest. But it's hard. It's still hard. It's definitely challenging. And it's raining puke from above. So we don't want to go up, if we can help it. Oh boy, this room doesn't look like any fun. I guess we're gonna try to go up here. Whoa. Yeah, how do you even... We might have to just... Well... Sadly, our success was just not to be that time. Still, we got into the Maya again, and that's always good. This time, we're going to be going with the Hokage, because I'm trying to put some variety in the classes I'm taking, so it's always kind of new what I'm taking into the dungeon. Let's see. Well, let's not buy a rune, because we've already... Wait, is this the sprint rune? No, the haste rune. You can increase your base movement speed. I forgot about that rune, which put on the Hokage plus ADHD, you could be, like, stupidly fast. Like, really, really stupidly fast. Now, can we get this cape now? Yes, we can. So now, our cape will siphon magic from the enemy. Very nice, very cool. And now we're going to go back in here and spend our money on... We're going to upgrade our armor. And now we don't have enough money to upgrade anything else. Still, being able to take extra hits is always nice. Silver cape looks kind of ugly, though, and homogenized with the rest of the armor set. I don't like it. I don't like the way it looks. It just kind of looks a little... It meshes together too much. It's literally a silver cape. And it just looks silly. I get it. I get why they did it. Because if you're going to call it a silver cape, even though it's just meant to go with the silver armor set, if it's not silver, well, then you're just lying. And then it would look even silly in that circumstance, too. And then people would be like, oh, it's called a silver cape, but it's not silver. I mean, I'm sure people wouldn't actually do that. Maybe. I don't know. It seems like a pretty low... It seems like a pretty easy joke to make. And here we got some more mini-bosses, so let's head right on in and give them a hard time. Hokage, as always, with their strong strength, is just great for this. They never had a chance, really. I'm not even going to put my own skill up on a pedestal there, because the Hokage is just that good. Even though I did dodge those bones pretty well. Okay, that's enough bragging. And there you can see the siphon ability at work. Very nice. Whoops, we teleported forward, so we can actually use our ability with more reckless abandon. Incidentally, since we're here again, I'm going to look at the Hokage's data here. And as you can see, they do have our huge strength, 78. So if you ever want to, like, actually compare the characters with each other, or the character classes with each other, the best way to do it is through their character cards, or just look it up on a wiki to get solid numbers there too. Because the way I think they do it is you start off with a base number for every stat depending on what modifications you have, and then those are modified by the class that you pick. That just seems the most logical way of doing it. And now we're back in the Maya, in this room that looks identical to the one we were in just before, a little earlier. Am I crazy? I might be crazy. Is there anything good down here? Well, there's a couple of tower guards here, which, as we've seen, can fling us across the map if we're not careful. So these Hulk guards, be careful with them, because the Tower Knights do just send you flinging back, just fling you backward. Hokage is pretty useful in here. Really, they're just useful in any new area where you need some high damage output against enemies that can suddenly take a better beating. Chicken! I forgot about that we had that ability. Do we have hypergonadism? I didn't check. Yep, we still send enemies flying when we hit them, which is just useful to clear them out and get some space if you're surrounded. Also, in case it hasn't been obvious so far in the way I've been playing, using the terrain to your advantage is critical, especially when dealing with mages. A lot of enemies and attacks can go through the barriers of the castle, but others can't, and that'll be critical in, like, your survival. Like these rangers, too high to the ceiling, so they can't really do much with their bow and arrow. That actually kind of startled me a little bit. Come here. Stupid mimic. Nah, I'm a mimic, see? I'm gonna bite you, see? That was my impression of a mimic, thank you very much. Now, thankfully, these guys can't actually get off the top of these platforms. Like, they can't get off of these by sliding and charging forward with their lances like they try to do. Which is good for you if you can just get on a different ledge than them. It's just a lot easier that way. Eyeballs. Whoa. I might die very soon. Maybe if we get in here, we can get ourselves a break. Well, thankfully, we have the high ground in this situation, even though now he's over there. You can tell what move the vanguards are going to use depending on how they prepare their weapon, on if they're going to charge or if they're going to use that sweeping attack. And here we have a take no damage room. Oh, this looks challenging. But not that challenging. Yeah, that wasn't too bad at all. Get ourselves another rune, and now we're gonna get out of here. Just wait for those to fire, jump over this one, wait for those to fire again, and we are out of here with a new rune in our pocket. And we're just, ow, ambushed. This is not a good place to be in. Just really bad. And we killed the warg as it killed us. Sir Kenny has been slain by a worgen. What a bad time. Well, with that in mind, it's time to just, life goes on, so it's time to just go on to the next life, as it were. We could be a paladin again, a tiny paladin. Yeah, let's be a tiny paladin with hypergonadism. Just a good ability to have, as always. I always say it's a good ability. You gotta believe me when I say it's a good ability. Do. So since we're here, I'm just going to upgrade our armor and our health, because the game did tell us that upgrading your health is vital. Also our chance for a crit hit, because we want to get that up higher. And look at how small we are. I know we've had dwarfism before, but now we have it again. And it's fun to have, because you're so small. And combining this with ADHD, and you can really float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. It's just a good combination. Some traits have some really good chemistry, and it's just something you want to keep an eye out for. Dwarfism and Paladin can work out really well, because with the shield, with good timing with the shield, which I can never really get the timing for, I seem to find, even when you do take hits, you can make it so that you don't take damage where you would. So that alone just makes it potentially really, really powerful combination. Just being a small knight. Ooh, and here we have the mini-boss, Boris again. Or Bodis, I'm sorry. Let's try our luck at him. This is quite a confrontation. With us against this giant knight. And it is taken care of. Just a moment. And for our troubles, we get ourselves just a little bit of money. Not too much, though. As you can see, there's an example of just how useful this class can be, as demonstrated against that boss. Mini-boss. Doesn't really count as a big boss. And I flew too close to the sun. Ah! And we just get treasure out of that. Well, I like treasure. And yes, you can see this is a one-way thing you can fall through. They're there. They exist. Just so you can't just fly up there with some flying ability that you might be able to get. I'm not saying anything, even though I kind of just did. Never mind. Pretend I said nothing. Hello, I'm Mr. Devious, or just Deeb. And this is the first I'm talking in this episode. But really now. We haven't had too much of a challenge going through the castle so far, and maybe that's because we're small, maybe it's because we don't take much damage, maybe it's also because we have our shield even though we haven't used it at all actively. But just compare like the stats we have now to when we started the game. Like, we only started the game as a knight with like 100 health, so we've really come a long way in such a short time already, and we still have a long way to go. Like, the Maya's hard, but the Land of Darkness is going to be a different beast altogether when we get there. And knowing me, now having said that, it's probably going to be a lot easier than I expect it to be. Guardbox 2000 is destroyed. It shoots homing missiles, slightly homing missiles, but again, not a big deal. 150 gold, very nice. And it looks like there's no easy way up to the Maya this time because, of course, why would there be? We will use this secret passage granted to us, though, by our dwarfism. These are always nice, just nice little paths you can take if you don't want to get into a fight. Or even just if you need somewhere to duck into for cover. It's really useful. It's just something to look out for, these little dark patches you can slip into, and in many ways that makes the dwarf class even more useful. Possibly more useful than Gigantism, because you get the lower hitbox and everything else. You get the small hitbox, you get the secret passages, you get, you know, the only downside is your reach is kind of crap, so you need to get yourself within reach of the enemy. And you saw that the goal there was to take no damage, which we did, because we could readjust ourselves with the double jump and get out of there. You know what, I'm just not dealing with this room right now. I just don't want to deal with it. It's too big, lots of enemies. And for our trouble, we get ourselves even more money. I got a good feeling about this life. Alright, I guess I could deal with this room. Even though it's huge and there are enemies that I don't have to kill. But you know. See? And since we still have the siphon ability, it's just more of a good idea to use your mana, since you're always getting mana back now. And mana, sub-weapons on a tiny dwarf, much more useful, or rather, much more vital, just because that range becomes that much more valuable to you than it did before, when you have to put yourself in that much more damage to actually hit something with your weapon. Thankfully though, even as we are getting hit, we aren't taking a ton of damage because of our HP and our armor. Basically just everything's in our favor right now, and the castle has kind of not become totally trivial, but by the time we're done here, it probably will be. And we found our way back to the forest, but we don't want to be here. We want to keep going up as much as we can. This is a weird layout. This castle is a weird layout. I guess I was wrong about it being easier to get to the Maya than to the forest, but again, maybe I'm wrong yet again. Well, here we are. Didn't really take that much longer. I guess the main thing to keep in mind is, as long as it would take to get to Forest Abkhazia, it won't take longer to find the Maya, usually, than it would to get to Forest Abkhazia. It's just kind of the challenge of ascending, I guess, with some enemies that are difficult to get through by ascending. Now, a good trick you can do is to just do that and let the weapons fly, because the enemy's positions are remembered, so if you send a weapon flying across the screen, even if you're not on the other side of the screen, it should hit the enemies that are across there, and that's a very, very good use for the chakram. It's kind of weird that I haven't been using it so much before, but what can you do? Guess I just hadn't considered the strategy until now. But don't let the chakram hit you, or else that'll cut it short. The ninjos aren't too big of a challenge right now, but they will be later. Their tier 2 versions are much more challenging in tier 3s. But as they are, stage 1 wise, nah, not really. Now, there are some big dudes down here, by which I mean one big dude with 2 balls. And we are not doing so well against this one dude because getting careless with our attacks, kind of just slamming into them carelessly. But let's get out of here. Our stats are doing a lot more sore now, but, well, you can kind of see why. The enemies here do a lot more damage, and here we have another mini-boss room. It's a very dangerous room. It's against 2 mages, an earth mage, and a fire mage, and they're very strong, and I don't think I can take them out right now. At least, if they hit me once, I'm going to be dead, so I'm not going to even take that risk right now and just kind of tactical retreat. Oh boy. And the pupil is taken care of. This guy, though, it looks like he's just going to be content to wander around the way he does. Guard box is out of the way, and that is a mimic there, so triggering it could be problematic. But clever use of the spell and the siphon makes that a much easier time, and we get ourselves the Sage Bracers. Equipment for gathering gold. This is just silly. I don't think so. Wait, actually, is that going to bounce out of the room? Nope. Nope, it stays in the room. I'm not even going to go after that because that is going to hit me. No doubt. Not a single doubt in my mind. So now we need to get back and down and over there. You see where I'm talking about? Like right in the middle of the screen? Ugh. Yeah. What a bother. Especially with our current health and stats. This is probably going to be the end of this run soon. But so it goes. Oh boy. This room doesn't look too bad, at least. Doom Trit. As you can see, though, portraits do say triggered if you run out of the room, so ow. Ow. Well, Sir Marvin's words, purchasing equipment is cheaper and more flexible than raising your base stats. That's very true. He had pretty good final words. Hard to believe he could get it all out as those portraits were tearing him to shreds. So it goes. Such is the cruelty of life. Such is the cruelty of the Maya. But I don't feel too bad because we did get pretty far as Marvin and we got a lot of money, so we're going to be spending that in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, by the way, and I hope if you want to see more that you'll be back in the next one. I'm Mr. Devious, or just Deeb. Bye-bye.